Yo, the CypherTalk.
Hey.
Oh man, I'm so excited to have my friend Roley here.
What up?
Do you want to introduce yourself for those who don't know you? Because you're kind of like the guy in the background, but like,
Yeah, man.
you know.
So Roley Leyson, teacher, like school and dance wise. Yeah, representing Project Fam, founder of Hype, and current director of Project Hype Ohana, the kiddies. And yeah, man, just big support of the scene, dancing, I guess, in the community since about '07. Seeing a lot, try to go to all the jams, meet as many people as possible. Lifelong learner, always a student. And yeah, just excited to be part of this moment in history. And yeah, man, this stuff's dope. Big fan of the podcast and the YouTube videos. So
Yeah, I was super excited to hear that you were gonna actually come and do the podcast with me here. And I gotta thank you for this guarana.
yeah, Guarana.
Gua-
It's Portuguese.
Guarana.
Brazilian. It's like the best stuff ever. Big goodbye to Viena do Castelo.
And
Good
it's like
stuff.
an energy drink, but in a soda version, like
Yeah.
right?
It's like I gave it to one of my students and described it as like 7-Up mixed with like Fruitopia with like a flavors like dancing in your mouth. So it's perfect after a battle.
Oh, crazy. And we got to talk about this because we're just coming off the crazy event known as Who's the Illest, which Boss Dance Team organized. Shout out to Jeannie for doing that.
Hey.
And all the Boss crew, because I know he's not the only one who's like organizing everything. But one of your students was in the finals. Is that
man.
right?
Yeah. My boy Miggy Merrimack. So basically that guy, I've seen him grow. When I was student teaching at Avery, he was like this grade 7 kid with like longer hair and like braces. Anyways, yeah, I remember one time I saw him in like the hut where we do our dance, and he's like doing tutting, and I'm like, "Yo, you tut? I tut." And so we're doing tutting, and we started exchanging that way, and it's from there it's just kind of like, yeah. So yeah, started talking about like what we know in dance and some videos back then. The big influence in the choreo scene was June Kamado, and so we
Yeah.
had those connections, and ever since that moment, it's been a bond that we've been maintaining.
That's crazy, man. I remember you invited me to that battle.
Yeah.
It was me, Jonelle, and I believe Maribeth. Who else was judging? Was somebody else?
Yeah, I had a few judges then. I know I must have had
And
Richie.
Almar? Almar was there.
too.
Yeah, and so and Miggy was there, right?
Yes,
He was there, and I was
yes.
like, oh, this guy's gonna be so sick when when he finally actually enters a battle like where
Mhm.
everybody sees him, because that was a small
Yes.
little jam that you threw. And then this one I was like, he killed every song.
It
I'm
was-
like, what
oh.
is going on? Yo, I was like cursing on stage because I was like when you're blown away, you're like,
Yeah.
oh damn. I was like that like every single time. I'm like, he caught it. He caught it again. He
Yeah.
caught the beat again. I'm like, what?
Even the wordplay and like the beatboxing part, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wanna record that. That was a dope round, especially shout out like Maribeth too. Like both of them just destroyed. It was awesome.
I was so skeptical on the beatboxing round. I'm like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And then they started doing it, and I'm like, what? How are they catching this stuff
Exactly.
in the
Oh.
beatbox? Like what? It was
That
so
was
insane.
so different, but definitely those two. That round was probably one of my favorites. It was
That's like one of my favorite rounds of like
So
all
unique.
time. I think right
yeah,
now. Like,
absolutely.
like out of everything I've seen, like I've seen like really high level dancers in
mhm.
other cities battle and stuff like that. But this one so far is like that's a special moment for me. Just
Totally special.
just witnessing it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad I didn't make it further in the battle, so that like that could actually happen,
You
right?
know, I totally know what you mean. Like when things just happen. Like another moment for me was an old battle was remember that three-way battle? I think one of Bob's jams when it was like Manitoba versus Alberta versus was it Saskatchewan? I can't remember.
Was it a breaking battle?
Yeah, it was a breaking battle. It was like
I
a
think
three-way.
so.
For me, that's like one of my top ones, and that beatbox one definitely is there too. But dang, so many awesome memories.
Oh man, I was
Great
like,
battles.
I was screaming. I was like, oh, and I was running around. I'm like, oh my god, like that. I've never done that before at a
Yep.
battle. It's
Yep.
just like, oh, I felt like I had to do that.
You know, it's exactly like even with the scene, like I'm looking around me, I'm like the one standing up and just going off, and I'm like, guys, they're dancing to beatboxing, and it was, it was so good. I
How
wish I was
was
on that stage.
You were in the crowd, so
I
how
was.
was how was the crowd reaction? Like, did you observe anything from them?
Yeah, I think it's different because when you do jams at Graffiti Art Gallery where it's a very the hip hop scene where they know the rules where you're allowed to stand, you're allowed to just cheer and go off. Whereas I think some of the people just being exposed think of it as like a performance or recital where they have to wait. Like as a teacher, I know that etiquette is you don't clap until they're done.
Yeah.
versus I think it's educating the people around that, it's all right. It's all about participation. And so I know the people beside me, we had people from Project beside me. I think it was Cadence, Carmina, Cassandra, Christelle, and Alamore, and we're just, and our lines going off. And the people behind us, in front of us, are kind of like, I don't know if they're being annoyed by us, but I can tell they're enjoying it too. But it'd be kind of nice if everyone just kind of, gave that same energy that we're used to.
Maybe that's something that the MC can mention, because I don't think they realized that could be the case, especially in a theater setting.
True.
Because it was at Park Theater, and which was a great venue, actually.
Absolutely.
I thought it was amazing. The floor was great. The lighting, I think, was good. I don't know. I was sitting right in the middle of it. So what did you think of the lighting?
From what I could see, if you were closer to the wings, you couldn't really see them. But as soon as they went center stage, it was pretty clear. So from my view, it was great.
Okay. So also another note to just improve on is mention where the lighting is or where they can see you. They can see you here. They can't see you over here.
Exactly.
But that's it's a little tweak.
It's a detail. Yeah.
But I really want to talk about, I don't know if you don't mind, I really want to talk about the battle, because it was just crazy. The Mary Beth was really,
oh my gosh,
was really insane.
Yeah, leveled up so much.
Like, the one word that I like to use to describe her is that presence.
Yes.
The presence is so, it's like something, whoa, damn, like you recognize it.
Yeah,
it's so insane. And like when she did that pose at the end at the beatbox, I was like, oh
man. And like what's getting me was like, it was only to the beats, but also to her words too. Like, work it, and she was just going off, and it was just totally good flow, totally in the moment. And man, I want to watch that round again. Like, I can't wait for the footage. Absolutely.
She has great timing on when to execute a certain move.
Yes.
Like, if you notice, some people, they'll do like maybe a trick move, like maybe the splits or whatever, but they won't do it at the opportune time,
like on the one or the right snare, or
she did that like a number of times.
She did multiple times,
and that was wow. Another standout was Mandy. To me, it was Mandy, because her groove was so simple, and you know what? It reminds me of Kellyanne from like
yes,
a few years back, like how Kellyanne danced before. And then so I was like, oh yeah, I really liked your stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because even seeing her like grow and battle, like she keeps battling more and more, and I see her improve every single battle. And it was funny because at the hub, the event afterwards at the Winnipeg Concert Hall, Centennial Concert Hall, Kellyanne was there dancing, and I'm like, yo, I see the influence, I see the mentorship.
Yeah, and she's definitely learning from Kellyanne a lot. Who was another standout? I thought like I made a post this morning because I was like so excited that that kind of stuff was happening.
I think for me, even seeing like you and Shaq, man, I'm like, yo, man, this is like, teacher and student. This is like, oh, it's always fun to see you guys go off, especially with like the locking, the popping. I'm like, oh, record this one. That's a good one.
My favorite was the I think one of my favorite moments, like the highlights, were
the elbow drop.
The elbow. Oh my god! Wait, no, we gotta talk about Stalls.
Yo, oh my god!
I almost forgot. Out of all of the things that like Stalls is.
So
Stalls' creative burns were like, oh my god!
From the handshake to like that move to like how he takes off his sweater. Shout out to John Serlet. Jokes were on point. This is how you get. This is how you get ready for. Anyways, I'm not gonna go there, but
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're getting at. No, but like Stalls did the elbow drop. So he like pretended to grab the person, put them on the floor, and then like jumped and did the elbow drop like a wrestling move. I'm trying to describe it for those listening, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then he did this. He did a somersault, but he put his hoodie into his foot. He brought his foot all the way up to where his hoodie is, and snared his hoodie with his foot, somersaulted, and took off his hoodie. Underneath he had a shirt that said, "I'm gonna smoke you." It was so
smart, man. Like he's so fun to watch. Like everything, you can tell he spends a lot of time in his craft. Like, it's always a pleasure to watch. I think one of my favorite ones was what is it? The heart. He was like cooking.
Oh yeah, he took out he took out. I think it was Mandy. Was it Mandy? I forget. It was.
Yeah, whoever it
he
was.
took out somebody's heart. Well, obviously figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
Took out the heart and cooked it. He made motions like a miming thing where he cooked it and then he ate the heart.
It was man, I'm just laughing. I'm like everyone's like, well, everyone's kind of go off. Man, come on, it's just so much creativity. So
it's so funny because Stalls is like the nicest guy, but when he battles certain moments, he'll like turn on like beast mode where he's like. I think the same thing happens with Winston when he
Oh
battles.
yes, yes.
But yeah, they're most of the time, like 90% of the time, they're like nice dudes.
Oh, they're such
So
like chill
don't
guys,
don't
bro.
always judge them. Oh, why is that guy a jerk right now? No, it's just like
At
it's
the
just
end,
a
yeah.
battle.
I think that's the cool
It's
thing
all
about
love.
battle scene, like, you know, from like being, you know, the urban choreo scene, and then seeing like the battle scene, the freestyle scene. Everyone's just so nice, man. But when you go into the battle, like, you know, like you battle, you gotta just put on the floor because that's how you earn your stripes. It's crazy.
I
So
think
cool.
however you feel in the battle, you should just let that through in your dance.
Yes.
Like whatever it is that is your fuel, just use it.
Mhm.
Because some people's fuel is different than other people's. So against Shaq, I was like, I just want to do a popping battle. Like I just want to do let's do a popping battle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew he was gonna get me on the tuts, so I kind of joked around with him. Do you see me at the end of
I'm like,
my second round? I'm like, pause. I'm just pause here. Now go over.
And that's why I'm like, yo, King. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. It was perfect timing. I love the ending.
And it was such a good night. It was such a good night.
So fun. Even the ciphers in between, like there was a lot of good people just is vibing out, like some like poppers and lockers I haven't seen before.
That's what I was gonna talk about too, because Mark has been sessioning with Kyosin, who is a new
Right?
new guy. He's locking.
Yeah.
One of the other Asian guys locking, and sessioning with Ray too, because they're all together. Ray and then Carson. And so they came out, and I'm like, yeah, they came out, and then we had like almost like a locking cipher for a moment, right?
Yeah, and it was like to like merengue music. I'm on the side doing merengue, and I'm like, yo, they're like locking to merengue. I'm like, what the heck? But it looks so well.
I was like, well, that's what we have, and we gotta pounce on this opportunity right now. It's Shaq, me, Mark, Kyosin, and like let's do locking.
Like, I'm like, man, I hope someone recorded that. That'd be fun to watch too.
I'm excited also for the footage that's gonna come out, because they had like actual what's his name?
Joe Cadola.
Okay, yeah. I'm just so I can't say enough good things about Who's the Illest and that venue. And then it was one of the first times where like, well, not one of the first times, but there was like alcohol available if you wanted. So it was more of like a party thing. And then afterwards they were like kind of hanging out
Super
in the
chill.
lobby, and the venue was really cool about everything.
It was a nice blend. Like for those that don't really know much about the hip hop scene or have seen like battles, like it was just, I think, a great way to kind of introduce them to that. Yeah.
I want to talk about your students as well. We might go back and forth on different subjects, come
That's
back
exactly
and
my
like,
brain, man. I bounce around everywhere. If I've ever taught you, you know, I just think out loud.
So this is a great format to like just talk and, you know, go wherever you want to go. But your students, I don't think I've ever met the kind of students like that who are so enthusiastic about learning. And what do you talk to them about? Like, how do you teach them? They seem like one of the best kinds of students that you could get. Yeah,
well, I think it started back, like, I know I've been teaching the kids for about 5 years, like within the school setting. But we started off as like it's a dance club. So basically, you're not forced. You come here if you want to dance. It's cool because it brought all these kids together, from like the sports guys to the academics to the music players, or people that, you know, just didn't quite fit in. And then from there, I really focused the idea on family, where whatever we do together, we train together, and just really keep those vibes. So this is where I can really put my positivity out there. Because I know growing up, like when I wanted to watch dance or learn dance, I just had like VHS tapes, you know, rewinding Much Music.
Yeah.
Usher. My favorite video was it You Remind Me of a Girl, where he does like glide in the Timbs. I'm like, yo. And then was that Omarion video where he's like, touch. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was But anyways, I jumped around. But back to the kids. Yeah, man. Like we started dancing, and then I showed them, like, I think it was around the same time as ABDC, when that was really big. Jabberwockies was very big. And then with that wave, and I come in and, like, you know, there's this Filipino teacher and he does dance. And then all of a sudden now, like, yo, there's dance in the school. And so I just started teaching them. And then from there, we formed this core. We did our first competition in the Zone 6. I think that was the first time there ever was a junior category. And I was like, yo, to the kids, let's just enter.
Yeah.
And then we did our stuff, and we're like, okay, we got to train more. And then from there, they just got really hungry. And since then, our motto, our mantra has been, to be hungry. So hungry to learn from anyone as much as you can, to be humble, because if you plateau, you're not going to learn anymore, and just to help each other grow. And the help thing has been very huge, because back then they were just all students. And this is when I spoke to the community and brought people in, from Alomar to Raj, Christelle. Christelle was one of HC Avery's alumni, so for her to come back was really special. Brought you in, and there was 1 month in, I think it was in the zone 7. After that competition, we placed second that time. Um, I had like a month left of school, so all of June, and we had 18 days left of school, and I brought in 23 dancers from the
Whoa.
community just to teach the kids. So every day we would dance for like 2-3 hours from teams all over the city, from project, goodies, just everywhere. It was crazy, and from there they just kept going and training, and they just love it. It's just, I think the big thing is just community, because they want to dance and they want to perform and showcase and show off their stuff while being with their friends and being part of a family.
That's so. That's really good to hear. I mean, I've obviously been a part of that, and when you asked me to go there and teach, and they just seem so open and so happy to like, oh yeah, it's like
I call you the popping guy. Like, yo, I got a popper coming in. It's like, oh, sweet. So now they get all the vocabulary, which is awesome. So because sometimes the kids, they can't afford going to the studios.
Yeah.
And so like I just want to hip hop. Each one teach one, right? So
Right.
share as much knowledge as possible to the kids that want to know.
Those principles are really important too. Like, and I'm glad you teach the culture as well. That kind of culture is really important. Rather than just teaching like the movements. Okay, these are just the movements, which is great, but it's better to have like a meaning behind that and the whole culture behind it as well.
Exactly.
So shout out to you for doing that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, also shout out to like the people holding jams. Like one of the things I think that really helped was because I teach, and we had a field trip. It was Open Minds competition. It was Angels event, and I actually had a field trip where I brought students. I got permission slips, and then we actually watched the battle. So I actually brought kids to watch the battle. And then from there, when Bob had some events at the Graffiti Art Gallery, I had permission slips again, and I brought the kids to watch some of the battles.
Oh, snap.
So
nice.
Field trips with Mr. Leyson is watch battles.
That would be like the craziest thing if I was like,
amazing.
if you go back to like when you were like their age or whatever, like, oh, you definitely want to see that.
Yeah, and they did see it, and that's why they like some of them have kept going, and for them to participate, like I think Believe the Hype, that was one of the battles where I think Tony Tran was one of the judges,
yeah.
And there was a 2v2, and then I got my students. I think Miggy was one of them actually. Miggy, Rafi, who else was there? It was Josh Anglo, Dan, Emmanuel, my godson, Choi, and Joyous. So I brought them in. We were like, our battle bros. So I remember I just had b-boy sessions with Bob. So he had those classes, and one of the concepts was battle strategies. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, guys, we're gonna train. I want you guys to do really well. You guys are the kiddies. And I want you guys to hold your own against the adults. And so we practice like commandos, burns, and like if someone's in your grill, make sure you move side to side. And yeah, it was dope. So yeah, just getting exposed just to like the actual scene. Like it's one thing to learn in a school or in a space, but for them to be in the presence of people who take the craft very seriously is a huge inspiration and motivation to just keep training.
Like it's a different experience when you're actually there. Like you can't, like you could try to describe it to somebody as much as possible, but unless you're actually there, like you don't catch it. You can't catch it in the video. Like it's so hard to, like, even sometimes when I see dope stuff live, watching it in a video, I'm like, no, I've already experienced it. It's not gonna live up to the experience of it
every single time.
So you guys need to physically come out and go to events, because it's you won't regret it.
Exactly. There's always something to learn, and the people that you meet, like after going to these like jams so much, like I get to see you more, get to see like everyone more, and I think that's the best part. And like to see the kids kind of grow up and like, like I watched that guy so much, and to see them like literally develop is awesome.
That well, the thing about Miggy as well that I like to mention was that he combined two things that I really like. He has the logic, like when he dances, like he, when he controls something.
Invisible rope.
Yeah, the invisible rope, the miming thing that he did. And he has a logic, but he also has the musicality. So he matches the logic with the musicality, and it's just like, what? That's insane.
Yep.
Usually you see one or the other, right? You usually see like maybe you see logic, but it's not done to any special musical thing in the song, or it's or the other the other side of it where it's musicality, where it's just like not too logical, but it just hits the
they know where the placement is. Yeah.
So he combined both, and he did that to like every single song. Like I've never seen that ever in my like life, like seeing somebody kill every single song using like the logic and also like the beat killing. It was
absolutely
it was so crazy.
I remember one time I brought him in. One thing I love doing is once I teach the kids, I love bringing in alumni. So I brought him to teach the kids, and I asked him like, when you make choreo, what do you do? He's like, he starts one and he starts working another one, so his brain just bounces around. So he just tries all these different movements to the same song, or just starts multiple, freestyles to multiple songs, and it's just his brain is just on a whole nother level. It's really amazing to watch.
I also have to give a shout out to Christian because you saw his round right against Miggy, and I was like, damn, that was a crazy. I think that was the first like battle that was in the top 16, right?
That was. I think that was definitely one of the first round ones.
Yeah, and first round ones. That's
it was fun. Like the way his patience was what really got me.
It was so I told them like I made an effort to tell people like when they do something really really awesome, like yo, this is sick. Like encourage them to do it, keep doing it, because I'm like, whoa, that was like, oh yo man, that was crazy. And they were both like killing the songs, right? And I'm like, ooh, that's a tough one to judge. Like, I wouldn't want to be those judges. I was saying last night, I was like, I wouldn't want to judge that one.
Yeah,
like that's
all
a
these
hard
things,
one.
Like they could go honestly either way, and I think they really try not to have the ties. They really want like one side or the other. But
yeah, Jeannie didn't want any ties because it would like take up too much time. I think that's my theory. I mean, Jeannie can correct me if he feels the need to, but like that's what I thought. So. But yeah, a lot of them could have gone either way.
Totally, man.
And I think everybody in that top 16 deserves respect. So shout out to all of those guys.
Great show, great respect, and guys and girls. Yeah, that's very true. And I think it's just a testament to just the caliber within our community and how much it's developed over the years. Each battle keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier.
I was sitting next to Stedroy during the finals, and I'm like, yo, that's next level, man. He's like, yeah. Like we're like, oh, damn. I'm like, we're like looking at each other like, oh, what?
Oh, man, both you guys are great, man. Like, everyone you guys was just so fun to watch. Like, I could just, if the night was longer, if I didn't have those other events, like, more ties. I'm just kidding. But
so let's talk about some events coming up, because I think this is a good time to promote them, because we're also excited about them as well. So February 24th is the Peace of Mind, right? That's Kellyanne's event. I think she has a bunch of events coming up.
Yeah.
Or a couple at least. That one's the big one. I think there's a Psyphedelics one.
Yeah,
which is the February 12th, because she changed it
it's the
couple
4th, right? Before?
She changed it a couple times because of her work schedule or whatever. So February 12th at Live Dance Center.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. That's just going to be like ciphers, I believe.
I think different styles as well coming together, which is always nice to have people, of different, just to kind of gain movements. Like, oh, sweet, like that move, I can use that when I do my pop thing. Or, yo, that move would look really cool in house. Or, when I do like a house move, I'm like, yo, this would be dope in like bachata.
Well, it's a way better thing to have the community rather than just like you by yourself in your room, or
absolutely.
like like you're just kind of isolated. Like it's like some kind of energy that people give off when they're together and they're like interacting like face to face, not just the video stuff, which is great. Like Skype and all that stuff is good, but there's nothing can really replace face to face.
I totally agree.
That's part of the reason why I don't want to do any interviews that are like Skype calls, because it's just it's different. So
it is. You need that personal touch. Yeah.
So you guys again come out to events and stuff.
Oh man, please! There's so much amazing things in the city, and I think if more people knew what was going on, I think the hard part is just following the right people or knowing who to follow. Because like I know yesterday people were like, "Oh, this event was happening." I'm like, yeah, man. But there's so much. Every night, every weekend, you could almost do something, whether it's hip hop or, with the Latin scene or just the music. It's really rich, really diverse.
And I just got the news today. Jeannie told me, I'm not sure if I'm able to share it, but I guess he wants it to be out there. Is that Dance for MS is going to be on May 20th? I think this message said.
Usually in May, yeah.
And so Dance for MS is always a good thing, especially for the cause too.
Oh yes.
For multiple sclerosis. So
there were some good memories with that too. I think last one was like the Pokemon format, right?
I think so. I'm getting years.
You went really far in that one. I think it's
there was one that I won. I was trying to remember today. I'm like, when was the last one the one I won, or was that a different one?
I think that the one was you, DGC, and it was Alomar, right?
Yeah, that's the one I remember.
That was like freaking amazing. Yeah, that's the one that comes to my mind right now.
Once we went to the finals, I was like, we're gonna win. I'm like, it's so hard. It's so hard. It'd be so hard to beat us at that point because we were going against, I think, Shaq. No, we were going. I remember Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
So Bulbasaur, Shaq,
Abel was there.
Mandy, and Abel, I guess.
Yeah.
And
It was like you, Alamar, and like Bob, and was Lester and Sunny Boy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. I'm just not remembering all the details. But yeah, it
It was
was
so hype, man.
that was
my
like almost
gosh.
like a super crew. It was
That
like,
was, but just watching it, the energy there was just off. I remember like one time there was, what is it? It was a groove, and both sides did the groove, and everyone was just going off. And oh my gosh,
I remember it was so surreal because I was
one of
like,
my favorites.
did I just win a battle with DGC?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What the hell? Like, yo, this is insane.
Yeah, man, that was unreal. I need to see the footage in that one, but it was just like the audience. It was just so intimate. Like the whole place was packed. Everyone was just going in. Like I remember like just like going left and right just so I can watch, and it was so good. I think Alamar went first, and I think you went second, right? I can't remember.
I
how
don't
it was.
remember.
I just remember the energy, man. It was one of the best for sure.
And that's the one I kept because I lost in the first round. If you guys don't know the format, it was like I think 3-on-3
Yeah.
at the beginning, and then if you lost, then the winning team gets to capture one of your team members.
Yes,
and
correct.
they kept capturing me. So I'm like, oh thanks, and oh thanks, and then I kept going, and I made it to the finals, and then
Yeah.
we won. I'm like, yeah, I win.
With awesome company too, man. That was incredibly memorable. Such a smart format. Like the fact that they see you like yo man, there's not too many lockers here. Like we need a locker, and this is just that was dope. That was awesome.
And then there's that one moment. It's a funny story, so I'll kind of tell it. I was facing Bob like 2 or 3, I think 3 years ago in Dance for MS. It was at the Graffiti Gallery. He entered, and then he ended up winning the battle. But then that wasn't the part that was the funny part. He did the backslide, or otherwise known as the moonwalk.
Mm-hmm.
He did it. He swung his elbow around, and I'm like, okay. He just hits me square in the face with the elbow. Yeah, do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
It's like, and then everybody's like, oh. and then I'm like, oh. So he kind of caught me on the cheek, and it didn't hurt that bad, but it was kind of like, what the heck, like out of nowhere, right? Like, because I've seen Bob battle like a bunch of times, but he never hits anybody.
Yeah,
right?
never,
Like,
never.
You're not supposed to touch anybody when you touch your opponent when you battle. And then I'm like, what the heck? And then my contact flew out. So I think Vanessa De La Rosa retrieved it for me, and like Bob gave me a hug after. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry. And then like, okay, let's get your contact back in, or wash it out or whatever, and like do the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was just like, ooh.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't remember that one. I think I would remember that. Oh jeez.
Yeah, there's footage of that. This is me just getting hit. Boom. So if you want to dig that up, you can.
No, definitely.
We gotta talk about your travels, because you're an
yeah.
avid traveler, and
Love it.
I like to hear about those things. Sometimes I don't know if you're here or not, so I'm
Yeah.
like, is Roley here? Should I text him, or should I Facebook message him, or what's the best way to contact him? But like, talk about some of your recent travels. And
Yeah. I guess I'll start with like the biggest little dance wise, since we're CypherTalk. I think the biggest one was Hip Hop International back in 2015. I remember, like preparing, we would put in so many hours. Like sleep was second, dancing was first. I remember one time when it was the night of, we were dancing to we didn't sleep, and then I think maybe it was maybe 6 a.m. and all of a sudden Team Japan comes in. We're like, holy crap, we have not yet slept, and they're just coming in, so I do the locking and stuff. But it was a great experience, to make it that far. Shout out to Project Fab and all the people there. And because we're keeping a battle, I'll sort of talk to the battle side. I remember I was watching the popping battles, and I'm like, okay, is that Kite? Damn. Like, yo, it's Boogie Frantic. Yo, that's and then so I'm just watching his Kite and like Boogie Frantic
can I pause you for a second? Because was it the year where Kite was battling Frantic? Would Kite battle Frantic?
Oh, I can't remember if they battled each other.
Because I think I saw a video of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been in 2015. Because
yeah, I can't remember. I just remember there was just many.
Can you check that, Alex? Kite versus Boogie Frantic at Hip Hop International.
Mm-hmm.
He is our fact checker. So
Yeah, for sure. I just know I was like starstruck like crazy.
What's that? No, Boogie Frantic versus Kite at Hip Hop International.
Tight. Yeah, man, because that was just nuts. Like, I remember in the morning, I had a workshop with Ken Swift.
Oh, man.
I'm like, yo,
Ken
man, this
Swift.
is Ken Swift, man. And then he's like, I'm like, okay, already crazy and see, like, Floor Master. Yeah, he was there too. And then I go like watch the battles, and there's just like all these OGs. Like Pop and Tronic was there. And then I watched the locking, and like it's like South Korea just taking it, and like judging is like who was it? It was Don Campbell was there. Tony Basil was there.
What?
Who was there? Another guy, Boogaloo Sam, I think. Yeah, like it was just, as someone watching these videos and like like speaking with you and like picking up names, just watching, but to see all the OGs there, like literally a meter away from me. Oh,
That's like the Olympics of our.
it is.
like, yeah, of the dance.
It was, and at one point, like even watching the b-boys, I'm like, the stuff they were doing, like gravity does not exist. Like, how can I teach science? Clearly, it does not compute, man.
Yeah, did you get it, Alex? Yeah. Was it 2015? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Kite did battle Frantic, which is like one of those dream matchups.
Yeah.
What's that? Top 8 world Pop and Battles top 8. Okay, so top 8 Boogie Frantic versus Kite at Hip Hop International.
Yeah.
Just interesting style,
So
and it's so like the thing that I love about popping is that there's such a variation on like you're still popping because you're still within the dance if you're like tensing your muscles to the beat and everything, and Frantic and Kite are just two completely different dancers, but they're both dope.
Yes. Like you're the LA style, and with the animation, and then like Kite with his footwork and his leg rolls and everything is just, oh my gosh, I want to do that. Damn.
Did you meet any of those like judges or anything, or
just talk to them and kind of like the one I had the most conversation with was Ken Swift, and so just kind of talking about like like funk music and just kind of like different tips and stuff. The other people was just huge lineup, so it was just kind of like I want to catch a picture at least because this is awesome. Just being in their presence alone, just seeing them like. Definitely, I need to travel even more now, and just I want to take classes from all those people.
Perfect segue. Are you thinking of the Wiggles?
I saw
class.
I saw that. I really, really want to. We'll see what happens. So I'm not closing any doors, but yeah, Wiggles in Canada. I would love to learn from Wiggles, man. I think my first exposure to Wiggles was, I don't know. He was doing a puppet one. He's like. It was puppet routine.
Was it it's a video
an
on
old
YouTube,
one.
right? Like where is he wearing like a Calvin Klein?
Yeah, I think it was Calvin Klein and like baggy pants. I remember he looked really tall because I think the angle was like really low.
Yeah.
And I first saw that, I'm like, yo, I want to do that. And then but ever since, like he's someone I haven't met yet, haven't seen in real life, and someone I definitely want to learn from, man.
He was here in 2011, I think.
He
was at the Graffiti Gallery. It was for I think it was an All Styles. Was it All Styles battle that he was? No, it was a B-boy battle. He was judging.
Oh my god.
He was a breaking battle. He was judging a breaking battle, and he was also doing some graffiti, obviously at the Graffiti Gallery, and then I met him, and I was like, oh snap! And he's big. He's actually bigger than you think he is. Like I met him. I'm like, whoa, he's kind of tall and like kind of like kind of wide, and it's like, oh, what's up? I was like, holy crap! And then he complimented me on my popping because in the cipher, like, I'm like, oh, I gotta show Wiggles that I can pop, bam, bam, like I'm popping as hard as I can, like, it's like, yeah, dope popping, man. I'm like, oh shoot,
oh man,
so
that's all good.
So
from Wiggles, man, that's like a bucket list right there. Wiggles.
So he's doing this Canada tour, Canadian tour. He's going to Vancouver, Calgary, Montreal, Toronto, and so I think maybe a couple other cities, but he's kind of skipping over Winnipeg, which is like, I guess it's like one of those like to them it's like their flyover like provinces, like how they have like the middle.
Man, to have him here, like
I would have booked him too if they had time, but I looked at the schedule and it's like, oh, he's gonna be in Calgary. Like the 17th or whatever it is, and then the next day he's gonna be in like Toronto or something. So if there was time between, I would be like, yeah, let's you're coming this way anyways.
Yeah,
so,
if you did, man, I'd be like, yo, personal day.
But I think I'm gonna try to check out his class because he's one of the guys, like especially in the 90s. He was if you watch his 90s videos, he was like on top of everything. 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, man.
He was like probably the best popper in the world, unless there's some underground guy that we didn't know about. But who's out there, and his DVDs are out too. I'm promoting a lot of Wiggles, but then his DVDs I want to get like his tutorials.
Yeah.
Because he was
So
like a
violent,
battle.
man.
He's a battle beast. That's what he is.
Yeah. And he's always evolving. I think ever since the knee injury, right? He's just started to dabble in the other stuff.
He got the hand styles going on.
Hand styles.
But so everybody listening to this, check out Mr. Wiggles. He's
Dope.
Legend, like
Dope.
straight up legend. Yeah, man. Sometimes I'm at a loss of words. I'm like, what do I say next?
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Let's just ramble and figure it out. But yeah, man, there's so much to talk about. Like even within people, why people get dancing, or like the people that's been in. Like we've had a lot of good people come in and just vibe out. I remember if you go back to battles, there was one. What was it? Labor of Love, where it was it MEC? They were here.
MEC, yeah. Maximum Efficiency crew from Toronto,
and like people from like the States as well. Yeah, man. Like it's cool seeing like the out of town cats come in and just show what they have. It's so fun to watch different styles within our scene. It's so cool.
The out of town. Mary Joyce calls it the out of town energy. So when you go out of town, or somebody from out of town comes to you, and you're like, oh snap! I'm like, I mean, that's how it should be all the time, even without out of towners, because we have so much talent in the city. It might be smaller than the other like big cities in Canada, but it's still there. And also, I should mention that we're starting like a funk styles session. With because Kyosin was talking to me about, he was like really keen on having regular session, and I know we've been talking about this forever. Like you and I, we've been talking about this forever, but it's gonna happen, and we're either gonna lock down a spot. Lockdown. We're gonna lock down a spot in either at my studio where I teach at Rising Star.
Oh yes.
Or because some of those guys are university students, so they live around the south side of the city.
That's right.
Maybe that'd be a little bit easier. That's the one I have access to, or even at Ray's studio. I don't know if you've been to.
No, I haven't.
Ray's studio. It's like a
like I know he had a
it's
restaurant.
on Portage. Yeah, it's like above. It's weird. It's above like this restaurant that doesn't run anymore.
Yeah.
And then he
I think that's his restaurant. I remember going there. Awesome, like chicken, so good. So that's where it is. All right.
It's on Portage. You know where
it's like
LA Bridal. Thing?
Close to Ray and Jerry's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
Ray and
Taiwanese
Jerry's
cuisine one. I think
extremely close to there. That they usually practice there, but they practice late at night on weeknights. And I'm like,
how late did they go?
They go like 10 to like whatever 12 probably. Because Mark usually goes to those things. And he's like, oh screw it, I'm gonna go. And then next day at work, he's just like,
I know the feeling. Like I think every September, like like Motown Mondays, I would just be going to the Motown Mondays like at Goodwill from like 10 to 12, and the next day I'm like, all right, gotta teach now. But I think that's one of the best parts, just when you learn stuff, just applying it in like social dances. Like we learn how to perform, we learn how to battle, but just vibing with like other people, especially girls, feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, when they were doing the when Tracy last night was talking about, she's promoting the 8-week program where it's like a free classes to women and like and girls.
Yes.
And then people were like, give it up for girls, and then I started clapping. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I like girls. And then Cedric was like, yeah, that counts. He's standing beside me. Yeah, that counts. Yeah, man. Of course it does.
Yeah, man. Two shout outs to Tracy. Like I remember when she was like just taking the classes, and she's grown a lot, man. It's awesome. Like everyone's just continuing to grow. It's really inspiring.
She's dipping her feet in the water for sure. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to go into. I was going to talk about some other stuff. But we're going to have those sessions, those funk style sessions. And Mark wants to start a Peg City Lockers thing. Because Vancouver has Van City Lockers. He wants Peg City Lockers.
Yeah.
And then when he was in Montreal, he I think he went to the Lock Unity sessions where they go all out with their locking practices, right? They just like, they do everything. Like they do their ground stuff, like their tricks. They do their like
awesome
technique stuff and everything. And so he wanted that. So he wanted so I told him, it's kind of like a mix of those two things, like East and West. We're central, and we got the freaking like Peg City Lockers where we kind of copied like Van City Lockers, but then we have like a feel like it's like from Montreal with the sessions. Like Peg City Lockers. Yeah. So Mark really wants to do that, and I think it's gonna happen soon. I'm just trying to push it. There's just so many things to do.
Yeah.
And
But you need to start. Like, again, I'm sure once more people learn about it, like, I think it wasn't for. I think at the same time when you took like your first locking class, it was with John Serla. And then I'm like, yo, this is so fun. And like, then when I remember watching, I forgot what it was. There was a battle, and then someone, oh, are there any lockers? And I'm like, oh, who's this? And it was like Mark. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then just like keep the scene going, keep the scene growing, and definitely want to learn more.
Well, when did you start coming to battles? I'm trying to remember, but because I think the first real like all styles battle type thing happened in 2009.
Yeah,
Paradox. Like Rowan and them, they were throwing this battle, and oh yeah, this was the other thing that I was gonna say. Sorry, it's a tangent that goes off into another tangent.
No, it's all good. I do that all the time.
That move where Stalls like shook Calvin's hand and then like did
the
thing. He did that to me in 2009, and there's footage of that Rep Your Step 2009.
Yeah, Rep Your Step,
and then he did it to me, but he got me like totally because I didn't know he was gonna do that, and it was my first battle that I entered.
Oh,
so I'm like, oh, he got me.
I remember that one. Yeah, if you gotta be careful, man, you never know battle strategy.
And then I was like, yeah, this guy's a jerk. No, but then later on, Stalls is like one of my good friends. It's like, yeah, I'm just kidding, Stalls. But yeah, no, he did that, and then so anyways, Rep Your Step was the first all styles battle, really, I think, and then later on, like 2010, 2011, maybe that's when it started picking up with the all styles thing. But
I think for me, what really got me, like, I loved watching all the battles, but I think I didn't enter my first battle until I started taking the classes with Bob. Like, he's like, again, I mentioned his name a lot. Someone I really respect, encouraging. He was just like, just try, learn. And he said, the thing that I loved about him was that back to the breaking, when he taught like the intro level classes, he's like, you guys have enough moves to not start battling. He just had no doubt in his mind that once you start learning the basics, you can start. Versus, like after dancing and, with teams for a while, you start to just kind of get comfortable with that. But he was like, yeah, you got the skills, battle. Like, why not? And it was just so natural. And so I'm like, yeah, why not? And it just opened my eyes, and just, it's one thing to be a viewer, but to actually step in the circle, like, it's scary as heck. But then like when you start there, like you just exchange and you understand how hard it is, and you just have a more appreciation, more respect for the people that go that do throw down those rounds. I got no power, but I do have some footwork, which is fun, and just trying out some burns and then seeing the respect, like the effect on the opponent or the audience. And I just remember then when they go really hard on you, like, holy crap! But that means like they saw something. So it's a thrill that I have, and something that I try to also teach the kids too. So like now what I do with my students, like we have our choreo challenges, but one thing I've included is battles. And so I think 2 years ago I threw a 7 to smoke with my kids.
Yeah.
And they were it was so hyped. They just went off. I think the winner the past few years have been Rafi. So shout out to Rafi Merrimag. Someone I've been seeing growing since grade 7. But it's teaching the kids how to battle, and just, it's catering to not only your freestylers or your choreography dancers, but to those that just want to go out there and just, battle and just fight in a controlled way, of course.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like it's good for it's just good to get like some physical energy out there as well. I forgot what I was gonna say. I had something else I was gonna say, but
all styles. It was all styles battles and b-boy. Yeah, I think my first battle.
Well, one of the things I remember now that I wanted to ask you was like, where do you want to go with your own personal dance? Because I know you're doing all this other stuff with like salsa and bachata and kizomba,
so fun.
All that kind of stuff, the ballroom stuff. Like, where do you see yourself as far as your dance progressing?
I think it's really hard, because I remember when I was growing up, I just wanted to dance just for fun, and then just freestyling, things like that, seeing something cool on TV, and so it was more just learning and personal growth. And then when I tried out for Unite, my first team that I ever made, there was less focus on the freestyle, but more focus on like the choreography. And then since then, I've wanted to get back to foundations. And then I started teaching debuts. So I applied everything I learned there, and then teaching it at school gave me an opportunity to direct. And I find that the more new avenues I try, I learn so much. Like being a director has taught me how to, be like a DJ, mix and match music, even fashion, like designing the clothes, social networking, just organizing events. Like I've just keep learning. So the more I just try different stuff, I'm learning so many new skills. Now that I'm in like dabbling within the Latin scene, shout out Salsa Explosion, y'all dope. Just learning like how does that scene look and figuring out like there are moments, for example, when you do a salsa or bachata where you can just throw in a top rock or like some popping and everyone just goes off. And I think the thing that I'm loving is like I've said this before, you learn how to perform with a team, so check. I've learned how to like do stuff in a battle, check. And now it's just dance is a language, and if I'm dancing with a girl, can I communicate exactly what I want? So can I communicate to you that I want to spin you without saying it? And so it's really applying even more deeply the concept that dance is a language. Because like like you're dancing like in a circle and you're killing it, but then everyone stops dancing and starts watching you. We're like, okay, crap, I sort of just killed the vibe in that sense. Versus, okay, I'm gonna do some grooves. Oh, they're coughing me right on. Okay, now I'm gonna start dancing with them. Now I'm dancing with her and dancing with everyone else, and it's just so happy. So it's learning when do you go off, and when do you just kind of start them to start feeling good about themselves and dancing and just keeping the vibes going. So I think one of the best feelings is like when you're dancing with a girl and you guys body roll at the same time. It's like, yo, same wavelength, man. So I think my goal right now is just this learning as much that scene, learning as much about foundation, and just showcasing and inspiring and just showing people this is what's out there. Because like I didn't know all about this underground scene until really like university. I was 18, but the fact that now I have 10 years old, like they can tell you what a Fresno is, that they can tell you, what popping is, or can describe, like hip hop and funk styles, or like what happened in the East Coast and the West Coast, and the fact they can now talk about that, like what are the elements of hip hop, and they can list that off. It's like, yo, I wish I had that growing up. So it's learning and learning and learning and learning, so that for those that want to learn, that can't afford it, have an opportunity to just, find an outlet that is good for them.
Yeah, that seems like your thing that you do is that you open doors for a lot of different people. Like, oh, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yeah. And then people just like, okay. And then they walk through the door and like, damn.
Exactly.
It's like, what
the best feeling ever.
But the thing is, like, I feel like you deserve a little bit more more credit because, like, you taught Miggy and stuff like that, and people don't know that. People don't know, like, oh, yo, he's been bringing up these like these kids from like a young age, to just like going like turning into like beasts and just like doing what they do, whether it be in like choreography or like freestyling or whatever. Just like, whoa. And then this is the guy behind it. So
yeah,
shout out to you again.
Thanks, man. It's again, like growing up, like I always think, what did I wish I had growing up? Yeah. Like imagine if we discovered locking at an earlier age. Yeah. Like, dang, man, I always wonder what would have happened. Like, and also just a testimony, like, even though I'm 28, I'm still learning as much different styles as possible. And just kind of, I figure I've such like the positivity, the energy, like if I can meet the people, like, there's a saying where it's like, when you're a kid, you have energy and time, but no money. Yeah. And then when you're at our age, you have time, energy and money, but no time. And then when you're old, you have, time and money, but no energy. Right. And so I really take that to heart, where I tell the kids, okay, so because I'm older, I can afford to take like a class, right? And so my mindset is multiplication. Let's say I travel somewhere and I take a class. Let's say it was Ken Swift. So I pay, let's say, whatever, $20 for that class. And then I go and then I share what I learn with you guys. Well, then there's 20 of you. Well, I just turned that $20 into like $400. And if you teach someone again, it just multiplies even more. Okay. So if the more I'm able to learn and share, like always preface, I'm just learning. I'm a student of the thing. Just imagine how much more people could be inspired. And one day I tell the kids that I teach, like, one day you're going to teach a future Mr. Leyson. If I screw up now, maybe they won't develop in the way that I did. And so I always tell them legacy, like, you're going to influence, you're going to inspire someone to want to dance. And I want you guys to learn, how to do it positively and how to just keep learning. Because, like, one day they're going to teach an Angelo. And they're like, yo, man, how do you do that? It looks like this. And because that one experience, it's going to inspire a whole generation. Like, I think within Winnipeg, what's hard is that some of the parents don't understand, or, like, don't necessarily support the scene. Whether for whatever reasons, whether it's coming straight from like Philippines or other countries. But my goal is, if I can inspire this generation, when they become adults, now they'll support their kids. And so I can foresee that our scene is really, really getting strong, because now the parents understand how amazing dance can be. And so it'll be easier to have like people coming out to jams, because they'll be exposed to, they understand how the social aspect, the creativity, and like while the OGs are around, just keep learning from them to share them before anything happens. So I'm really thinking like deep into the future, because these kids are going to become the parents of our future children.
Yeah.
These kids now are going to be like the future of our scene, and always thinking about that. What's my role in that, and how can I connect, whether it's locally, nationally, or internationally? Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, I think that's a really important thing to think about, and I don't think a lot of people think like that. I think like that sometimes, like, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing like further down the line? What's it gonna look like? And yeah, that's why I think I try to do my best at teaching, and because I know it's gonna be passed on, like potentially passed on to other people. Like, oh, this is what I learned from Mr. Angelo or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
or like I learned this from this person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can see that history. Like, oh, this move I learned when Flexen was here. And so this is where I got that from. Or I learned this move when Pyro was here. Or I learned this from Angelo, and this is where he got it from. And it's just just sort of to trace it. So there is a history that I'm not just making this up. Like, I actually try to meet the people, and this is where I got it from. And it's cool for them to trace it and to kind of be like, this is where this style's influenced. And I think it's that important part of hip hop, or of the funk styles, of whatever it is, of just to know where it came from. So it's not just bit off somewhere without any substance. But this is where it's from.
Well, this house dancer, and I think he's a b-boy as well, from France. When I took his workshop, he said something really that really resonated with me, because he said, I'm gonna butcher this, but he said something along the lines like, movement, good movement by itself is good, like it's good, but like having a meaning behind the movement is even better.
Agreed.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And like, again, I'm gonna go off and drift off and everything.
All good. I'll catch you. Don't worry.
One of the other things that we have in common is that we're huge like history nerds, and like
so good.
Like and as far as like the dance goes, like, oh, what about this? What about that? Like, and sometimes I don't even know. Like, if you're asking me, sometimes you ask me, I'm like, yo, I don't even know that the answer. Like, I try to explain it the best way I can sometimes, but it doesn't come out as good as I want it. So
but the fact again that you're so into it, like, it just inspires me to be like, okay, I have to keep learning, have to keep asking. Like, even when we're talking about, was it to Bob, about the different generations in Winnipeg, like even that local thing, like 5th generation, 6th generation, like, do you remember that conversation? You had it when Lady C was here, I think. That one time. Yeah,
you know what? Bob and Surla have the generations locked down. So if you want to like know the they do it by like I think I forget, but like there's like, apparently I'm the 8th generation of something. So I'm not sure what you would
have it written
be.
down somewhere. I have it written down because I know I started dancing in 07 is when I
Like, he counts eras in a certain way.
Yes.
Bob does. So it's just interesting. The other thing that I wanted to mention too, while you're in the middle of talking there, was the vibing.
Oh yes.
Vibing off of each other, because I feel like that's something I catch myself too. I'm like, I'm not really looking at anything. I'm just looking towards the direction and then just figure out my dance. Right. I'm just dancing. But then one thing that I try to do sometimes is just kind of, just kind of have fun with it and like look at other people like, yo, check it, like,
exactly,
right.
Yeah.
And it's something that's missing, because sometimes I guess when somebody dances, especially in a circle, it's like they dance and everybody watches them and they're not really looking at anybody. They're just trying, like, oh, I hope this is a cool move. I hope this is this looks good or whatever. And like actually connecting with somebody and looking people in the eye while you dance is like I think that's an important thing that
I think so too, because it's all about that connection. Like, when you're dancing, it just feels good to move. But when you groove with someone, they start copying your groove. It's like, we just connect. And I think there was that one workshop as well. Kellyanne brought in the guy from Floridians, Sam.
Yeah.
And he did those like different like drills or those activities where you try to dance, you just keep eye contact with someone and just focus your energy there, and it just feels more organic and less forced, because you can see that they're catching it, which is, I think, is the best thing. But like, yeah, I mean, I think it's fun inspiration watching someone do a move, and when you go in, taking something that they did and and flipping it, which I think is super fun.
Yeah. It was, yeah, like I was kind of playing around with Shaq yesterday with the battle because I was like, I did the vibrate thing and I knew it was gonna get a reaction. I went with my I did a vibrate thing with my arm and I'm like, I knew it was gonna get a reaction and like Shaq does some vibrate stuff, so I'm like, I'll do this, and then like I heard the crowd like, ooh, I'm like, okay, come on, I got it.
Yeah, it was so good. I think from where I was, it was so clear. Like your technique was good. Like I remember seeing them like, yo, it's so nice. Maybe it was the lighting, but it was so clear for my view.
That's my good hand, man. My left hand is not as good. That's why I did. I only did one hand. Yeah, I only do. This is the first hand. I did it.
Yeah. No,
I actually did that to Alex one time. You know that is it the Drake and Rihanna song? I forgot. That one dance. Is it One Dance?
Oh, wait.
Oh no, I remember.
What song is that? Is that One Dance? I need a one dance, and then they had there's a drum roll part.
Yeah.
And then because me and him worked together here, right?
Oh,
So I stood in front of him one time and then just waited for that drum roll and went with my hand, and he's like, oh.
That's good, man.
So,
it helps when you know the music, just listening to a ton of stuff. Yeah, but that was a good one. I remember that one.
Yeah. So I think that's an important thing to do, just vibe off people and just have fun. Actually try to have fun, and if I think if you actually looked at my dancing yesterday, I was trying my best to have fun with the music that I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
you know, you did good, man. It was really fun. I think yours was one of the ones I recorded too. I think I have the footage if you want it.
Oh, sweet.
But
man,
then I ran out of space. I'm like, I have like 16 gigs on my phone. Damn it. Like I should like come up with like a DSLR and just record it all. But yeah, man, I got yours.
Sweet. I'll check that out after this. What else to talk about, man? Holy smokes!
Well, there's I don't know, a lot of things.
I was talking so much after the battle yesterday, just like out loud, just like blah blah blah. Oh, I'm talking a lot. I usually don't talk that much unless I'm on a podcast. But I was talking about the theory behind like why is somebody good or what can make somebody better. I was giving Steadroy some advice yesterday. And I'm like, yo, if you don't mind, I'd like to give you some advice. And he's like, okay. And I told him, just slow down a little bit. It's like, I know it's tough. I rush too.
Yeah.
I rush a lot too, especially on stage and like people are watching you. Oh
it's
my
the
God.
Adrenaline. Yeah.
It's a nerve-wracking thing. And that goes back to having appreciation for and respect for what people are doing on stage. Because
absolutely. 100%.
Like you could hate on it, but like, yo, you try it then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, you try doing like a Zulu spin for like, I don't know, 20 of those in a row and see how dizzy you get. And then someone doing a head spin, you're like, oh crap. Yeah.
And then stay composed throughout the whole thing.
For like 3 hours. Damn. Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So I told them, just slow down a little bit. Like you have, I could see the potential with the moves. I see that you're athletic and you just need to, I said, just groove, man. Just try to groove small at the beginning, just catch it. And it's something that I think it's worth repeating this over and over again because when you're in the battle, you forget so much.
Yep,
you go, I forgot. Like it's just like you're in that mode where like you just forget like a bunch of things, and then if you repeat it enough, I think it will get ingrained.
Yeah,
and you'll be like it'll become automatic eventually.
Yeah.
And then you'll just start groove. Okay, now I'm on beat. Now I can do my other stuff, and it'll still be on beat.
Yeah,
because it's.
I think that's very true. I think when you bring that up, it brings back my memory to Pyro because he says when he dances, he just like is in a zone. Like he doesn't think. He's just kind of almost like he's just zoned out. But I think, just getting those movements, applying it to your body, and just trusting that you'll pull out the right movement at the right time. And that's why I think, going back to Miggy, like the fact that he's able to apply that logic with that musicality is just so like dang, it's crazy.
It was, that was like, wow. I'm still shocked at like how good he was. Like
everyone too, man. It was
I at one point I looked at Steadroy. Oh no, I looked at Mandy and I was like, what's going on? Is this rigged or like what? Like I'm kind of just like confused. I'm like, yo, what's like after after one of Miggy's rounds? I'm like, what the hell? My face is just like, whoa, like what's happening here? Like, so I'm so glad I got to sit like right, like pretty much in front of him. Like I got to see like exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I enjoy those battles that are like in a theater like that with everything set up in that certain way. Because when I went to Last One Stands in Vancouver, they had the same kind of thing. It was in a theater, a much bigger theater, and a bigger stage as well. Yeah. And just seeing like Slim Boogie there, and he's battling, and then Dino, Aki, Junior Booglu's there, Firelock, all these people that I respect, like all the Vancouver guys. Like it was just So it was so crazy.
Yeah, because I think that's how it was also at Hip Hop International. Like when I was there, like I didn't realize like we're in like in stands, and then they're just in the front doing their thing, and it was just nice to watch. And but I do miss the like sitting on the floor right where they are too. Like there's just doesn't replace that intimacy. But yeah, like both formats look really well because it gets very clear because you have great views. Because sometimes like let's say it's a very intimate scenario, and sometimes people stand up and they get in your way. You're like, oh damn it, I just missed that moment. Whereas you don't really miss a moment when it's set up as a theater. So it's just nice just seeing other formats too. Respect for each style, like from each format. Yeah.
I think I think that's one of the things. If I throw a jam, is important that everybody gets to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's like, what venue do you pick? That's the question.
Yeah, that's really hard because even for myself, like yes, I did stand up, but I was lucky I was against the wall, so I know I'm not gonna get anyone's way. If I was in the middle, I'd probably still stand up, but I would probably feel bad knowing I blocked someone's view. But
the good thing is if you pick a theater with a big enough stage, you could fit more people around, like in a semicircle
Very
on
true.
the back of the stage and around. And that's what we did in at the last one stands thing. That's what they did. Except they had the judges at the back of the stage. It was interesting because this guy named Otis Funkmeyer, he does these commentaries. I don't know if I talked to you about this. He does these popping commentaries where he plays back certain battles and he comments on it and his.
Yo, I think you have talked to me about that, but I haven't had time to search it. I definitely have to dig that up. Otis Funkmeyer.
Yeah. I think he did a commentary on Slim Boogie versus Aki. No, Slim Boogie versus Dino. And it was in Vancouver. And in the shadows at the back, I recognized myself. It's like, oh, that's me. That's my shirt. Because I'm wearing a Locking for Life shirt. Yeah. And it's just like dark shadow. And it's just me, but it's my shirt. And I'm wearing my my Adidas track jacket thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm right there, man.
I made it.
I'm right there. It's so trippy to just be in front of those dancers where you've seen them for like so long on like on videos.
Yeah, like again, it's one of those moments where it's like, this is actually happening. Like you just feel like, you can't just help to be like, yo, I just want to take a picture with them, or just even to talk to them when you do talk to them, they're so like down to earth. Well, but the experiences I've had, anyways.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a wide range of personalities, especially in the dance scene.
Yes.
Serlo was telling me that like out of all like the artists that he knows, is like the dancers are the weirdest ones. So I'm fine with that. Yeah. Even Frantic was telling me when I took his workshop. He's like, well, he's not telling me personally, but he's telling the class. He's like, yeah, poppers are weird, man. There's nothing here. Like, and he's miming. Yeah. So he's miming. He's like, yeah, there's nothing here. I'm just pretending there's something here and doing it to the music. That's weird. And I'm like, yeah, that is
I guess
pretty
you can think of it that way. Yeah.
It is weird, but it looks dope when you do it.
It's the illusion. I think I really like, and just the creativity. Like, like the whole like I think was it Mark? Was it you or Mark that taught that? It was a popping class like creative creations. Remember that one?
I think I taught a few popping classes.
Remember that one? But someone taught miming. Was that you?
I think that might have been Mark.
Yeah, it was just so neat, the whole idea between like its energy, like a ball, and like there's an invisible wall there. You just kind of like keep one hand there to maintain that illusion. And yeah, it's so trippy.
There's so many things that I would like. I mean, it seems kind of arrogant in a way, but it's something that I like doing, is that evaluating other people's dances and seeing like, okay, how could they be better, and how could I help them along in their process. It's just a question of if they're open to hearing some of the criticism, the constructive criticism, and my theories go like, I think my theories are pretty spot on, but I don't know, that the finals last night at Who's the Illest, I think it could have went either way.
Yeah.
My theory on why they chose J-Rec, which I'll have to say shout out to J-Rec because he won. Because I didn't even mention that. But J-Rec, shout out for winning, because like you were at Who's the Illest last year in the finals and you lost to Kellyanne. And Kellyanne wasn't here this time, so you got lucky. I'm just kidding.
Well, he was at the hub with Kellyanne there too. So
yeah, later on, yeah. But
busy man.
No, because my theory with how he won, why he won, was because he was dancing on beat when he's doing his top rock and everything, and kind of playing with some musicality a little bit. But it was mostly, I think, because he mixed that with his breaking in the second and third round. Yeah, that made it like that's an up that levels up the difficulty,
Mm,
because you got now you're dancing and then you're also doing these things on the ground that are like difficult to do,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. While
And
maintaining
then you
the beat
come
and the
back up and
musicality.
and then you keep dancing. It's like that's so hard to do.
Very hard.
So and Miggy was of course killing the beat, which was like sick. And you could have made an argument that he should have won as well, but that's my theory. So
Yeah, no, it's very hard. It's very hard. I'll. The judges made a decision.
yeah,
It's really
I'm
hard.
glad that I didn't have to do that.
I was hoping like, can they do ties, please? But yeah, no, it's hard, man. Like I know that each gentleman did their best, and like shout out to both dancers and awesome finals.
I was mentioning last night too that I hope, and I think it is happening, that Miggy's getting encouraged by all of this, like, because it seems like I always have this slight fear or paranoia that somebody that good is just not going to continue for some whatever reason. Life gets in the way. You go to work, whatever.
That's the hard thing. Yeah.
But it's such a waste to see like somebody if they're like that high level and they just like just like kind of put on the back burner.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm concerned about too. Like even for myself, like there's moments where I teach where there's my craziest moments was preparing again for Hip Hop International, where I would teach from like 8 to 3, have like an hour break, and then teach dance from like 3 to 10, and then we'd rehearse from like 11 to 3 a.m. and I'd have like 3 hours of sleep, and then teach and repeat the cycle for like a month. It's heavy, really, really heavy. But I think like seeing how hungry he is, like he trains a lot, and I think it's just telling people like I think someone told me this, if you really want it, you will find a way. Whether if it's decreasing something, like it's hard because life gets in the way, but it's how can you make it part of your life and how do you find a way. I think I'm just that positive and optimistic.
I just hope that like people like that, even like yourself and anybody who's really really loves the culture and the dance, and just to keep going and keep it in, like keep it close by.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to completely let it go. You don't have to like hold it super close, but just keep it like it's there. Like keep it there.
Is.
There's different ways, and Sirla was talking about this when he was on the podcast, to keep like dance in your life.
Yes.
And be part of the culture and the
Absolutely.
scene. So it's such an important thing, I think, to the dancers to see like OGs or like people that support them and come to watch them.
And I think you're right, because even myself, like when I started like teaching at a school, like I would make all the choreography, but then as the years go on, like you get busy with stuff and so start delegating, and so I see my role always shifting from like sole choreographer to now one of the choreographers, now being a director to the choreographers, and then being an organizer of events for the dancers and the choreographers. And so each year my role always changes, where it's like it doesn't have to be just me. And so I think it kind of goes back to the idea of back to that hip hop culture. Like remember that it's not just the dance, like breaking obviously the first dance, the physical. But the thing I like is I read it somewhere where it's like breaking dance is the physical aspect, and then you have graffiti, which is like the artistic, the DJ, which is the musical, and then the MC, which is like the spoken. And so I think there's always a way to sort of incorporate those elements in whatever you like. Whether it's you're drawing, well then that's kind of like to that graffiti element, the visual element. And I think for my role, it's if I can't do as much dancing, still keep it there, but figuring how can I also maximize and apply the creative outlets that is there. Whether it's designing like logos and clothing and like let's throw a jam and connect people, and learning how to do all the stuff. So there's such a richness, and I think it's adapting, using your time and figuring out what element of hip hop you can work on, because there's a lot. Like when I see people who do spoken word and they dance and they can do graffiti, it's like all that stuff, and like rap, it's like
you're the avatar.
pretty much and
all 4 elements.
And then knowledge, the 5th. Well, yeah
5th element. Yeah, everybody forgets about the 5th element. And also just just party, just have fun, but knowledge more important.
Knowledge super important.
You need knowledge to party.
Yeah.
Where's the jam? Yeah, okay, I got knowledge that the jam is over there, so I can party over there.
Exactly. You know what? And the thing I love about that too is even with my kids, like students. I don't have kids. With my students is whenever we dance, right? And there's people watching, and then when we start, our practice or whatever, ciphers or circles or whatever, I always ask everyone in the room to join our circle, and they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "No, just join our circle," because I tell them like I tell the dancers, like, you need to remember that a community is not just the dancers, it's the people who supporting you. Imagine going to like an auditorium and performing, or going to a jam and no one's watching. Like,
Yeah.
it's the community that are there. That's just as a big part of our family of dancers. And I think that's sort of one way I kind of keep everyone included. Just regardless if you're just sitting there watching, there's an appreciation there. So you have to
Yeah.
acknowledge that and help the dancers remember that they're just as important. You can't exclude them because they're the ones who want to learn, and their way of showing the respect is, being there and supporting you dance and do your craft and show your craft.
Yeah, for sure. And that goes to the thought again, like there's different ways to participate in the community. It's not like you have to dance, or you have to battle, or you have to just, you could just be a supporter, and that's really like just as important as dancing itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like a cycle thing, that give and take and everything. What are you working on right now? What's going on with your life right now that you're working on?
Well, okay. So one thing I'm trying to do is I don't know if I should, I guess I can say it here. I'm applying to a program to teach English in Japan.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, and so because of that, I've been trying to focus on different projects. So, like for example, Hype. I've had my good friend Justin De La Cruz. He is now a director.
Nice.
So he's taking that over and guiding the children. He's someone that has been supporter of like Hype since the start of it all. And so I know he's like, the kids are in good hands. And so my goal is working on Ohana, which is like the alumni. So anyone that's been part of Hype in the past, currently, or people that just have like based on their vibes, I put them together and we just try to perform. So those are like my leaders that I'm just trying to develop and nurture, so that if I'm not here, they can continue without me, and so that the system will be self-sufficient. At the same time, while I'm working, kind of getting them to the point where they can now lead, I'm also trying to teach them. For example, here's how you make a mix. If you want to throw an event, okay, here's how you can kind of do it.
Nice.
So whatever knowledge I have, like if you want to battle, okay, here are the tips that I've learned. So giving them all the years of experience that I have now, so that by the time they reach 18, if they want to make a career out of this, they have all the skills that they need. So even networking, like Shook, like one of the guys that's been supporting the kids, like shout out to Shook. Like he's someone that's always provided the kids with like dope prizes, dope connections, and get stuff made. So it's passing on and sharing my resources, whether it's knowledge of how to throw a jam, the vocabulary, how to direct, because you can dance, but if you can dance doesn't mean you can lead, direct, doesn't mean you can teach, doesn't mean you can freestyle. But showing them, okay, I've tried all these different things, and here's what I've learned from each of those elements, so that even though they're not 18, by the time they do become 18, they'll be so like refined, and they'll have that desire. Like Isabel Sally, one of my students, like she's grade 9, she's like, I can't wait to travel so I can learn.
Wow.
Like, that is awesome. Like I want to give them that thirst, that desire to learn that I have now. Like if I had that when I was their age, like how much more further can they go? And so I know that's part of the legacy. And then now that I'm doing Latin dance, I just want to continue to do that and teach the kids how to do Latin dancing too. Because even within the debut scene, like you have like your waltz, and now you have the modern. It was back then. I remember growing up like and seeing like jives, salsas, all those things. I remember grade 6. One of the big the thing I loved was people performing, and I think one of the big crews was Final Clearance. And they were known because
Mark. It comes back to Mark.
It's like Final Clearance. I remember watching them at my cousin's debut, and they were just hilarious. Like they mixed b-boying with with the jokes and everything. And like I remember it was just hilarious. And so I was teaching the kids kind of bringing you back to that Winnipeg history where it's not just these two. Like incorporate those elements as well. Because I think if the kids also learn how to do say Latin dance, like say bachata, that's something I'm into. If they can learn how to dance with each other and really like it, then I think that'll translate into vibing in circles, because now they're not afraid. They know I can dance with someone. It gives them confidence. So my goal is to teach especially the high school generation how to dance with someone now, because you can perform, you can get that, you can battle, but can you actually dance with someone? And then if I do get the thing in Japan, I want to sort of see if who I can learn from, because I know there's a lot of oldies out there.
Yeah.
But also see if I can start a movement there too and make connections. So I start making those international connections.
Nice. Oh, snap.
So maybe it's I know someone. Let's see if we can fly him over here.
So when would you know about that, the Japan thing?
If I think it might be in May. I'm not too sure yet. But all I know is that I just want to share and just connect. Share and connect. Because I think that's what's going to be very special. Because by that time, the people I know here, they'll be, older, and they'll have more knowledge. yeah, I just the possibilities are endless. So, and who knows, I might make some really strong connections. And yeah, I just have a lot of ideas. I'm very hopeful. I'm very, um, if there's an idea, let's try to make it happen. No
Nice,
reason why it
man.
shouldn't happen. Yeah.
Are there any documentaries that you'd recommend or that you've seen? Because I'm just curious on what
Yeah.
you've watched in
Mm.
as far as like hip hop documentaries or
Yeah.
dance documentaries or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I think first and foremost, I just learn a lot by personal contact. So again, whenever like our city's OGs like Bob, Lester, you know, definitely speak to them, John, and find out what's happening within our scene first. Because I think if you understand the local scene, it just makes you want to know, okay, now how are they influenced? Oh, there's a connection between like Winnipeg and Vancouver now. Okay, so there's a little line drawn there. And I think starting with those like the people that are closest to you, it's easiest because like you have more connection, more meaning. Definitely say like you, Angela. Man, if you get a chance to speak to this guy, talk to him, like he does his research for everything, and I think it's good to find people who are hungry that want to know. And I think personal contact, talking to you for documentaries. I just really just go on YouTube and I just play, and I just kind of keep going. So I can't remember things that stand out. I love watching like the stuff that Mob Tops, Buddha Stretch, Leaf Forest, like seeing their tutorials, which are always great. Any tutorials are really good. And the thing I really love, not just the movement, but the history they talk about the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those picking up those snippets are super, super valuable because sometimes I think people just skip to the move versus the build up to the move.
Right.
Understanding. And even I think you tagged me in a clip when he talks about like when he redoes some of the things, like, yeah, you know, the Reebok, yeah, it's kind of a Gucci. you remember that one?
I don't even know.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
anyways,
remember.
yeah, and they were talking, and I'm like, yo, so the movie did there is sort of different from the movie I watched in that earlier, like old school dictionary video.
Mhm.
And he explains like, you know, like what happened, and yeah, check that one out. That was cool. And then the old movies like what's it, like B Street is dope. Just watching those stuff. Yeah, but again, I'm still learning. Like that's why it's so exciting because there's so much to watch. It's just
Yeah.
time. So much is time.
I have yet to watch, believe it or not, Breakin'.
Mm.
You know the one with Turbo and
Turbo with the broom?
Ozone. Yeah, the broom. Yeah, the
Oh,
broom. Yeah.
man, yeah.
I still haven't seen the whole
You know
like movie.
I'm with you. I've always seen like bits and parts. Like I just remember that broom scene. Yeah, that was crazy. But I do have to finish that one. There's so much to watch, man.
I did watch Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, which was just, I think the title was just kind of funny because you're Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo and like,
Yeah.
well, where's the Electric Boogaloos in here?
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
much,
there's so much things to watch. I want to ask you also like who are some of your favorite dancers?
Oh,
Like you like watching?
is it local or is it like?
You could go anything. Let's make a local list and
Yeah.
then like do like a international list
Oh,
or
dang.
whatever.
Okay.
I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but you
yeah,
know.
no, it's all good. It's all good. So again, a lot of people that influenced me throughout my life. So okay, I'll start off before the scene. I remember growing up, people that I love watching. Okay, this goes to like the Much Music days. Usher. Yeah, his glides what inspired me. Then I think Pharrell had that one scene where he's like chest popping with like just it was like
Oh yeah,
remember that
like
one?
I love you.
Like I Love You.
Or like bam, bam.
I
and he's
saw
like,
that pop. I'm like, yo, I want to know how to do that. And so, like again, that's like my main source. So it was that, and then you know, like Omarion, seeing his stuff was dope, and then Wiggles. And I remember watching like this collaboration. It was this Korean thing and those stuff. But anyways, so those are like kind of like the video stuff. Within the scene, I remember what really got me into the choreo scene was Richie Serrao. He was Pop Bottles. You'll remember that one. It was a routine. That was the audition piece, and that's what had got me into it. So he's someone that was a big inspiration to me. Also, Mr. Kelvin too over in Vancouver. Yo, what up? Alomar, Roch, a lot of people from Project, of course. Jeff De La Rosa. Love is like his creativity. Let's see. Angelo Popper, of course. And Rich Popper.
thanks.
Yeah. There's so many people I could like list off. Like every single person really, really inspires me within the local scene. Deepest respect, again, biggest respect for Lester and for Bob, and John. Like those are the ones that, you know, they're kind of like, I seem like the source of like information and like history.
It's so crazy too, because Serla plays it off like he he doesn't know, like he almost plays it off like he's just a regular. Well, he is a regular dude, but like he plays it off like he doesn't have all this knowledge in his head, but he has all of it, and like you just got to do is ask him.
Yeah, like it's like even like yesterday he was like, yo, popping styles, you know, like groove styles, and he knows so much, man. Like those three guys, I think like the ones I super like, awesome. And then in terms of like like people that I like, like the not local ones. Like watching like Frantic, he's dope. Kite, he's awesome. I can't remember. I'm just yeah, like like the Boogaloo's obviously dope. Swift. Um,
Yo, I have to ask you about this real quick. Did you watch Battle of the Gods, Crazy Legs versus Storm?
No.
Yeah, you know how they're like 50 years old or whatever. Like Crazy Legs is 50 years old, and then if you can you check that Alex, is Crazy Legs from Rocksteady Crew 50 years old? So Crazy Legs from Rocksteady Crew was battling B-Boy Storm from Battle Squad. What's that? He's 51. Oh, he's 51 now.
Oh damn.
So Crazy Legs battled Storm like recently, like maybe within a year or so, and they trained for this battle. They went 5 rounds.
Oh my gosh.
Storm was doing like head spins, and he was doing like drills and stuff like on his.
Oh my gosh.
Like you have to watch that battle.
I need to.
Just watch it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Those guys are like so sick. Storm is like a mad scientist when he battles, because he's just like if you ever watch his tutorials, there's also this good tutorial I have to tell you about this, and also the listeners, that it's I think it's called Footwork Fundamentals. And Storm is teaching it. There's a whole YouTube playlist of this, and you could probably also buy his DVD if you want to support.
Absolutely, definitely buy those stuff, man.
But
the artist.
He goes into like his footwork that he's developed since he started breaking like in the 80s, I believe. And just from that, you could take that and then just run with it and like get creative on your own and like seek information from your local dancers or whatever, and it's really insane. But you should watch that.
I think I need to. Yeah.
But there's a lot of dancers you could mention on the
so many, man.
That, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and I apologize for anyone that I didn't mention. Like, you're probably there in my head. There's just, I watched a lot of stuff.
This is what I want to ask you, and I guess I'll just ask you on the podcast, is that I'm wanting to do a strutting routine.
Oh, like, yes, please.
Like me, you, Mark, Shaq, Calvin, maybe Carson from Dancers Club, or Ray, and maybe a few other people.
Yeah.
We don't really need that many people, but but then the poppers and the people who are into that scene. I want to do a routine and be like,
that would be amazing.
Those Playboys Incorporated routines are
they're so
sick.
good. Like when I visited California, they had the what's it called, the botting breaking. What was it, the thing in Cali, San Fran, the big event?
Do they have barbecue thing? Or
I think so. Yeah, it was. I can't remember what. I think
like
you said
like the OGs. Poppers
all the
picnic?
OGs. Yeah, I don't think it was a Poppers Picnic, but it was like RRR or BBB. I can't remember what it was.
BRS.
BRS. That's
you went to the BRS?
No, I was okay.
Boogaloo Robot and Strutting.
Yeah, I wanted to go one of the events, but it got canceled. I'm like, no, but I was there. When I was going to some of the clubs, even in San Jose, and just seeing them go off, it was just.
Who did you see there?
I don't even know. They're just people that just like, I'm just like family. Like, this is crazy, and my cousins are like, yeah, man, we see this all the time. I'm like, God damn, like this is crazy. Like,
were they strutting?
There was one that was strutting, and then people that were just vibing with like everyone. Like but to actually see it like the San Jose and stuff, and then like, yeah, I don't know, man.
I also have this conversation on Facebook with I had a conversation with Money B.
Oh yes.
So the guy who's like I guess the leader of Playboys Incorporated.
Yeah.
But we had a conversation because I caught him one time, like, and then I was like, hey, what's the difference between Fillmore and like strutting? Is there a difference? And he gave me an explanation, and then I was like, I still have that. Well, that's still that's like in the vault, right? That's in the Facebook
I need to see that
history or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and he actually gave me a shout out.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy because me and Shaq, this was like 2-3 years ago maybe. Me and Shaq were practicing at Rising Star, and we would film our stuff and try to figure out how to get better.
Yeah.
And we went on. We did this thing for a while, and then I did some strutting in my freestyle, and it was recorded, and I sent it to. I think I sent it to Money B one time, and then he posted it on his wall or whatever, and then he's like, oh yeah, strutting in Canada or whatever.
I think I remember that.
And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, holy crap, money be posted on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I think I remember that. Like, yeah, there's so many things that just, yeah.
So
I
if
think I
you're
remember that
down,
one.
if you're down to do a strutting
That'd
routine,
be freaking amazing.
but I really want to like actually like create something that's really dope.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the Playboys Inc. do it, like Media Circus.
Yes, yes,
does
yes. Oh,
it,
yes, yes. You give me
like
those links too.
I think I told you about Plick Plock one time.
Yes, you did. You did.
Who else does strutting?
Mhm.
There's there's a bunch of different other crews.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I think, I wish like it'd be kind of cool to because we don't not many people do strutting in Winnipeg. I
Just me.
yeah, because I remember like you hearing it from you then like watching it. I'm like, yo man,
And
like
Mark.
it's pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that'd be I think a really cool treat. Like even when we were at Motown, we're just doing a few things and everyone's like, yo, it was awesome, just for fun.
That Motown thing, once it gets started up again, like
yes, so good. Motown Mondays.
We'll do that thing again. It's like, yeah. Who shout out to all the DJs that
Yes,
like
Goodwill.
that play there. So,
It's all crazy.
yeah, man, it's been fun. How long has it been? Like an hour and almost an hour and like 20 minutes or something like that.
Well, that's good.
You have practice at 3:30, right?
Yep,
so
3:30,
I'm
yeah.
gonna let
Some
you go.
kizomba. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. I know we could talk about so many other things.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
and go on forever. Shout out to Canadian Footwear. We fit you.
Yeah,
we
man.
have 3 locations in Winnipeg. We got the downtown location, St. Vital, and Regent. Check it out if you want to grab some shoes. I shout them out because they allow us to use their space here to record our podcast. And we also have a location in Calgary. And if you don't know, Mark San Juan is famous now. He's a shoe modification specialist at Canadian Footwear.
Yep.
And he's got a commercial. He's got a commercial.
He
it's on.
dances.
I seen it on CTV.
Oh,
I seen it
really?
on Global and like.
Oh, I didn't see
it's on
that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be on a commercial too. Apparently,
Hey.
so might see me my fantastic face on screen on the small screen. So again, Roley, thanks for
My pleasure.
coming
Thank
out.
you.
I've known you for a while now. It's ever since Catechism. That's another
yeah,
story.
Man. Yeah, another. Oh, definitely.
But I really appreciate it, and good thing. The best is yet to come. So I'm really excited for everything that's gonna be happening.
And definitely like keep doing this because like again, the future generations like they're gonna look back and they're gonna listen to this. I definitely promote it because it's that history that we don't want lost. And I think it's cool that you took the initiative to make this happen. And like for myself, I can't wait to listen to this conversation years from now and realize, damn, I was speaking too fast or I forgot to mention this.
No, you're good,
I'm
man.
so sorry, man. Everyone out there, I try to speak slower when I teach, but when I get too excited, my voice just kind of goes. Blah, blah. But again, shout out to
you're good, yo.
Thank you. But again, this is a great thing, and I think continue. I can't wait for the next to hear what else you do and where this transpires. So thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, sweet. CypherTalk. We out. See you guys.
Peace.